Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Kitab Sharh Ajaib al-Qalb, The Marvels of the Heart. This is book 22, 21, sorry. This is book 21 of Ihya Ulum al-Din, The Revival of the Religious Sciences, the Revival of the Islamic Sciences. It was translated by Walter James Skilly. With a foreword by T.J. Winter, Abdul Hakim Murad. At the end of the fourth session, we stopped at what has been described as a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and it's not really a hadith. Your soul, which is between your two sides, is your worst enemy. نادى عدوك نفسك التي بين جنبيك. This is, some scholars said that it is ضعيف, some scholars said it is موضوع. So, since it is rendered as such, of course, but that does not mean that anyone whose soul motivates him to break the law, and it is bad enough if you break the law of the land, a stop sign, a red light, parking in a handicapped special needs parking spot, but breaking the law, whether by not fulfilling the religious obligations, by committing grave sins, or worse than all of this, but not believing in God altogether, maybe as a ticket to that which is haram. So the meaning is, will be there, but it's not a hadith at all. So this meaning is somewhere in the it circulates amongst the Sufis, as there are many traditions that circulate amongst the Sufis, and why not really advocate Sufism with knowledge of the hadith. So this was one of the meanings, really, of the soul of the nafs. The second meaning, Imam Ghazali continues, rahimahullah, is that subtle, tenuous substance that we have mentioned, which is in reality man. It is the soul of man and his essence, but is described by different descriptives according to its differing states. When it is at rest under his command, and agitation has lifted on account of its opposition to the fleshly appetites, it is called the soul at rest, النفس المطمئنة. فإذا سكنت تحت الأمر وزايلها الاضطراب بسبب معارضة الشهوات سميت النفس المطمئنة. When it is at rest under his command, and agitation has lifted on account of its opposition The fleshly appetite is called the soul at rest. Of such a soul did God, the Exalted, say, O you soul at peace, return to your Lord, pleased and pleasing him. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية. And nafs, in the first meaning, the soul, according to the first definition, cannot be conceived of as returning to God. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. For it is far removed from God and belongs to the party of Satan. Satan, shaitan. The translator said that if Imam Ghazali used the word Iblis, he would leave it as such. In all cases, it's about Satan. But when the soul is not completely at rest, but is striving to drive off and oppose the appetite of soul, it is called the upbraiding soul, and nafs al-lawama, for it upbraids its possessor whenever he falls short in the worship of his master. God the Exalted said, Nay, and I swear by the unbraiding soul, ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة. But if the soul leaves its opposition and becomes submissive and obedient to the demands of the fleshly appetites and the invitations of Satan, it is called the soul that commands to evil, and nafs al-ammara bis-su'. God the Exalted said, relating the words of Joseph, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, or the wife of the prince, Imra'at al-Aziz, and I do not acquit myself, for verily the soul commands to evil. وما أبرئ نفسي إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء. Now, I think a diversion is a must for a minute or so. The Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam did not have an inclination towards her, absolutely not. ولولا أن رأى برهان ربه ولقد همت به وهم بها لولا أن رأى برهان ربه. She did incline. She did, in fact, take action. She did follow him to the door when he ran away. She did tear his shirt from the back. And لولا here تفيد الحصر والامتناع, that absolutely the order of the wording in the Quran, the meaning would be, had he not seen the sign of God, he would have inclined towards her, but he did see the sign of God. He did not incline towards her. And both the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, and the ladies later on, when after the jail term, when Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam insisted on his innocence, that he would be cleared of the accusation, the ladies said, when the Aziz asked them about what happened at that moment, they said, ما علمنا عليه من سوء. In fact, his wife herself, of course, testified to his integrity, to his purity, faultless character. So, of course, here it says it's either or. It's either Yusuf alayhi salam Mra'at al-Aziz. No, it is really unless it's really more of a universal statement. Okay. At any rate, yet it may sometimes be said, by the soul that commands to evil is meant the soul according to the first definition, for the soul is most blameworthy. But the soul, according to the second definition, is praiseworthy, for it is man's very self, or his essence and real nature, which knows God, the Exalted, and all other knowable things. What Imam Zabidi in a comment when he speaks about the soul, definitely these are not different types of souls. These are states. Wallahu alam. النفس الدساسة, for example, النفس المشترى, القتالة. So these are states of the soul. In the first sense, wallahu alam. The fourth term, which is the intellect, al-aql, also partakes of various meanings that we have mentioned in the book of knowledge. This would be the first, of course, book of Ihya Ulum ad-Din. And here he is concerned with two aspects. Of these two pertain to our purpose. Intellect may be used with the force of knowledge, ilm, of the real nature of things, and is thus an expression for the quality of knowledge, whose seat is the heart. Second, intellect may be used to denote that which perceives knowledge, or the heart in the sense of the subtle, tenuous substance. And we know that every knower has within himself an entity, wujud, which is a self-existing principle. القائم بنفسه, probably yes, هو أصلا قائم بنفسه. And knowledge is a quality, صفة, residing in it. And the quality is other than the thing qualified. So intellect may be used as meaning the quality of the knower, and it may be used to mean the seat of perception, the mind which perceives. Al-aql. The latter meaning is that referred to in the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm reading what Imam Al-Ghazali says, وهو المراد بقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أول ما خلق الله العقل. وفي الخبر أنه قال له أقبل فأقبل وقال أدبر فأدبر. He did mention this in the book of knowledge, but it's not a hadith at all. If I may simply complete the part about the أقبل فأقبل أدبر فأدبر, hadith also relates that he subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the aql, to the intellect, draw near, and drew near. Then he said retreat, and it retreated. This hadith is موضوع باتفاق أهل العلم بالحديث, as they say. Or someone might volunteer and say, well, I would render it just above موضوع, maybe. But what could it be if علماء al-hadith, scholars of hadith, render it forged? It cannot be a hadith. In fact, there are several problems. إن أول ما خلق الله كذا. So the first thing that God created, this phrase might indicate a problem in the hadith, because we have several several things. Uh, in this case, it is al-aql. It could be al-qalam. It could be uh, al-ma. Uh, you know, and this is an issue that scholars would look at the order of creation and thus judge the hadith with it, whether the matn is okay or not. I think we have two issues here. In this case, we have we have a problem with the text of the hadith, and we have a problem with the chain of narrators. This is why it is mawdu'. So it is now made clear to you that there exist the following meanings of these names: the corporeal heart, the corporeal spirit, the appetitive soul, and intelligence. These are four meanings that are denoted by four terms. There's also a fifth meaning, which is that subtle, tenuous substance in man that knows and perceives. And all four of these names are successively applied to it. There are then five meanings and four terms, and each term is used with two meanings. Most of the learned ulama are confused in distinguishing between these terms and in regard to their successive use. For you find them talking about involuntary suggestions, khawatir, and saying this is the suggestion of the intellect, this is the suggestion of the spirit, this is the suggestion of the heart, and this is the suggestion of the soul. And the observer does not understand the distinction in the meanings of these names. So, for the sake of uncovering, clarifying this matter, we have put here at the beginning an explanation of these names. Wherever the expression heart occurs in the Quran and in the Sunnah, its intended meaning is that in man, which discerns and comes to know the real nature of things, this may be alluded to by metonymy, as the heart which is in the breast, because between that subtle, tenuous substance and the physical heart, there's a special connection. I would problematize this by saying, in a conversation with the Dr. Hani Abdin, the dean of the Faculty of Medicine at Al-Quds University, and he said that they found a number of neurons, like the neurons in the brain, surrounding the heart. What's the role of these neurons, surrounding the heart? This is something probably will be explained by neurologists, by maybe in collaboration with cardiologists, but the idea is that there is some, because Imam Ghazali said there is a connection. And I thought that by mentioning this, it might help explaining this special relationship between al-Latifa and al-Jism al-Sanawbari. So whenever the expression heart occurs in the Quran and the Sunnah, its intended meaning is that in man, which discerns and comes to know the real nature of things, this may be alluded to by metonymy as the heart, which is in the breast, because between the subtle tenuous substance, al-Latif, and the physical heart, there is a special connection. For although this subtle tenuous substance is connected with and used by the rest of the body as well, yet this connection, its prime connection is with the heart. It is as though, so yet this connection is by means of the heart, so therefore its primary connection is with the heart. It is as though the heart were its seat, its kingdom, its world, and its mount. Therefore, Sahl al-Tastari, rahimahullah, has likened the heart to the throne and the breast to the seat. He said, the heart is the throne, al-Arsh. And the chest and the breast is the seat, al-Kursi. But it must not be supposed that he meant that it is the throne of God and his seat and Allah's seat. In both cases, we should not really think of God being, taking shape, occupying a place limited by space and time, to things that He created, Subhanahu wa Taala. For that is impossible, Imam Ghazali says. But he meant that the heart is its kingdom. By its here it talks about the subtle tenuous substance and the primary channel for its planning and activity. These then, meaning the physical heart and the breast, stand in the same relationship to the heart, the subtle tenuous substance, as do the throne and seat to God, the exalted. كالعرش والكرسي بالنسبة إلى الله تعالى. This metaphor is appropriate only in certain respects. The explanation of this is not vital to our purpose, so let us pass it by. Next is chapter 2, an exposition of the armies of the heart, Bayanu Junud al-Qalb. Inshallah, we will stop here and we'll pick it up with the beginning of chapter 2 in the next session, inshallah. سبحانه وتعالى. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.